All right. Welcome back, guys. It's been a while. Um, so, we're college students. It's ramping up. It's finals week. We're studying for, finals. We got our last classes coming in and our last test coming in. So, this is why I got my background. Everything is fine. Everything's fine. Totally not burning. Just totally not burning alive. Anyways. But no, I of course, as always, this is just great. It's a great way for us, Franklin and I, to just get our mind sometimes off of, college life and just get into the beauty of sports, man. How are you doing, Franklin? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I mean, it's always nice. We get to talk about sports, but I guess we should just get straight into it. The Orlando Brown trade. I saw this yesterday and I was just I was in shock. I guess I shouldn't be too shocked, but I was very much in shock with this trade. Give me your thoughts, man, and I'll give you mine.
Oh, yeah. I'd just say my thoughts would just be immediately that the Chiefs addressed an immediate need. They gave up a good amount for Orlando Brown. Like they gave up a first round, third round, a fourth round, and next year's fifth round for him. But in this league, left tackle is so important, and he fills probably the most important position need for the Chiefs at this time because in the Super Bowl, you obviously saw what happened without a offensive line, but much more without a good left tackle there.
Yeah, Mike Rummer, Super Bowl MVP. We've been saying.
Exactly. We've been on that train all along. So for them to address that positional need, I think is huge. I think Orlando Brown is that proven commodity, that guy that is good. The Ravens, their offensive line's been amazing. It's been wonderful. To have him join the Chiefs and protect Mahomes for long term, I think it's a really interesting move again because of these guys are two of the top AFC's teams, and we'll see how that works in terms of how it affects both teams down the road. But
yeah, I kind of, of course, like you said, the Chiefs, they fill up an immediate positional need. And it just feels like overnight they rebuilt their offensive line insanely. Sorry, I've been parched. So, but I'll go through when I got the notification from ESPN, just the whole thought process in my head. So I saw this and it said they were sending their first round pick plus others in 2022 and 2023 or something like that. That's what I saw. And when I saw that, I thought that meant that the Chiefs traded away 3 first round picks. And I was like, whoa. Then I look into the details and then I find out that so the reaction when I found out the details was like, oh, the Chiefs won this because you give up a first rounder, sure, but it's a late first rounder. You get a second rounder. You trade a fifth for a sixth. You get a second rounder in exchange for the first, for the third and fourth, and then you get Orlando Brown in exchange for a first. I thought, man, that's pretty nice. Like if you kind of think about it, like Orlando Brown's a proven commodity, is an excellent tackle, excellent. And I was thinking about this year when they lost Marshall Yanda, when they lost Marshall Yanda heading into this year, right? The Ravens. And in the beginning of the year, we're kind of talking about how the Ravens offensive, or pundits, not necessarily me, but analysts were talking about how the Ravens offensive line was kind of bad, and you could see it. Like you could see how the run game just wasn't the same at the beginning of the year. There's Lamar, there just wasn't enough time. It felt like their offensive line just didn't seem good. And then the fact that they traded away Orlando Brown made it seem like even crazier. I was like, what, why would you do this? And then I am now in the position where I am, where I think both sides got a good deal out of this,
Mhm.
because this draft is loaded with offensive tackle prospects. Like, there is deep in offensive like linemen this draft. So if if the Ravens want to get younger, and of course, their GM is just super, that that whole brass and that organization is just great at drafting. They're going to find ways to replace that offensive line. I feel like, with how much depth there is in this draft class, that I think they can do something at 31, and with the other picks they've gained, in addition. So I guess now I'm on the fence where it's like, I think the Chiefs definitely won, but it, of course, as any team that trades away their star player, it depends on what they do with the draft picks to see if they won or not.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I agree with basically, yeah, everything you said. I did hear also that Ravens were, I think, rumored to be front runners to sign former Pittsburgh starting left tackle Alejandro Villanueva from the Steelers.
Mhm.
So he's a free agent, and no doubt, like, he's been great. He's been a Pro Bowl left tackle for years, and so the Ravens are expected to sign him. So that's like, that's someone that can immediately come in. And then you got the draft, of course, with that deep offensive line position, and you could be building for the future, like after Alejandro like retires or falls off a little bit from where he is at his prime. So
I feel like Villanueva kind of has fallen off, but again, the Ravens find ways to make the most out of veteran players. So I mean, there's
exactly,
nothing. Yeah, exactly. Uh, yeah, I think that's the Ravens are just a smart organization that I trust them. It's just, as someone who's a Lamar fan, when I saw this news, this kind of hit me hard. I was like, you know, this kind of sucks. You already, this guy was, talking about how they didn't have a good offensive line at the beginning of the year, and now, this is kind of rough. But I guess to flip it onto, I think the Chiefs are now clear cut now back into being the Super Bowl favorites by far. Is that your opinion too?
interesting. I would say so. It's just because, like, as much as I loved Tampa Bay's run last year, I feel like a lot of things went right for them, and also that it's something that people will be much more aware of what Tampa Bay does this year. So I love Tampa Bay's roster, but I think looking at from top to bottom, I'd pick the Chiefs to be a favorite for sure.
I just let me gather my thoughts. The Chiefs, I think, are the favorites just because their offensive line now is just, it's good. It's sealed up. And we've seen what the Chiefs have done throughout this whole run. Like, I think this is Mahomes' first loss by single digits in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken. So they've been dominant with this roster and this construction. It's just the fact that they need an offensive line and get it. Now, it's true. The defense isn't top tier, but, and I mean, the Bucs scored like 30 plus points on them. A part of that could be just due to shortened, just continuous possessions with the ball, just shortened field possession. I mean, field position. There's a lot that goes into it with that score.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs' pass defense has been one of the better pass defenses in the NFL, and I think they have a good, solid team. And I don't know how you can doubt the Chiefs to be the favorites. I will say the Bucs roster is quite insane, and with Bruce Arians teams, you always think about how the first year is usually the worst year. And I guess if Brady won the Super Bowl, there's how if only you can go as up, then like, Jesus Christ, man.
Right.
They didn't get a full training. They didn't get a full off season in, and all of that stuff. It's definitely scary, but I guess in the NFL, it's never repeat champions that, it's always, there's always variability. There's always parity. That's what I like about the NFL. And, but I just think the Chiefs right now, when you just look at them and you look at their track record, and they went 15-1, like, this is still the dominant team. And this Orlando Brown trade before, I might have been shaky because I thought it was a questionable move to get rid of Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz, but and replace with a guard is not this like with Thuney, although he's great. I mean, I loved him in New England. Doesn't replace the tackles, but I guess with Brown and they got some other depth pieces, they kind of just they maybe revamped it with arguably with better talent than even pre Eric Fisher, Mitchell Schwartz injury.
Right. So you would say, I mean, based on your opinion, would you say Tampa Bay is the second best roster, top to bottom, or would it not be?
This might very well be recency bias, but I would say so.
Yeah,
I would say so, man. The Packers just losing Corey Linsley. I think people aren't necessarily talking about how big of a deal it is that they lost Corey Linsley. Like that, they signed back Aaron Jones, but they lose Corey Linsley. I don't know how that running game is going to be as, what Matt LaFleur wants. Like it might still be good, but it's not going to be as good or as great as it was supposed to be before. Like the ceiling's definitely capped.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the NFC is concerned, and I'm just trying to think. I mean, the Niners, of course, can never count the Niners out. If they get Justin Fields or, I guess we'll talk about these later. But if they get Justin Fields or Trey Lance,
we'll see. But
my gosh, well, yeah, they could go. They have a great roster. They could do a lot of things with it. I mean, of course, the NFL has so much parity. The rosters are great. That's what makes it. But what I can think right now, yeah, I think you can't doubt Tampa Bay right now. I think they're the second best roster.
Sure.
I think that's fair to say. Here's a hot take I'll give you, or I guess not. I guess I'm prefacing it. What do you think of? How do you think the Bills are going to do next year, man?
The Bills. I would say, okay, so what they finished 13-3, right? So they had a good season. They had a great season.
They had a great season.
It's a hard question. I really liked what I saw this season, but I feel like in some ways they won't reach the AFC Championship again because there's so many other teams that are that had I think a little bit of a down year maybe. I feel like there's always teams when I look at the Ravens, for example, they're always supposed to be there, but they never reached that level. But I feel like one of these years they're supposed to reach that level, especially J.K. Dobbins being a rookie running back, but next year he's a second-year running back, and you have Lamar another year in the system, learning the NFL, getting better at what he does. If those teams make the leap, then the Bills, as talented as they are, and they're really talented, I feel like I always have the problem that they are a little bit too much dependent on Josh Allen. That's my kind of concern because I don't like their backfield, but they have a great roster. Don't doubt that. They'll definitely be in contention for the AFC East division crown. It's just that are they going to get to the AFC Championship again? I don't know if they will do that. So.
Exactly. I think so. I like Brian Dable. I think he's a great OC, and I like the job that he's done. I think he's one of the best ones. I just don't not so much as relying on Josh Allen. It's so reliant on Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, that too.
Having it reliant on one receiver is quite scary to me. I just that I take as I think they're going to drop off in a way that there's always a team that rises up and then something happens. They get a harder schedule, stuff like that. They kind of fall. I think that could happen with the Bills, man. Also, again, I think the Browns are going to get better with it. Another year under Stefanski. I think the Ravens, of course, you can't throw them. I think the Chargers are going to be a wild card team that will be in the playoffs.
Sure.
I love Staley's a great coach. I mean, that defensive talent with Derwin James and Bosa, that's amazing. I mean, I just think with Herbert with a better offensive line, I could just see this team just making waves that I just So usually the Bills get brought up when you think about talented rosters. And yes, they are talented, but I just don't know. Is it odd of me to say I still don't trust Josh Allen that much? Right? Is it weird of me to say that? Like I mean, everyone's already anointed. Yes, it's a great improvement. I'll agree. It's a great improvement. We've seen like from worst in completion statistics, around 50% plus to now like 70% plus. Uh, it's just can you blame me for this seeming like such a weird jump? And especially with the fact that you have Stephon Diggs, like I mean, how reliable is it that to maintain the production? I think he was the most valuable receiver for a certain team,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's fair to say.
by far. Yeah, no, okay, so I'll say this. I don't blame you. I think maybe the media pundits may blame you, but again, we're entitled to our own opinions here on Sports
Hell yeah.
Insomniacs. But yeah, I know, I agree. I just think that, I think Stephon Diggs, if I'm correct, he stayed like basically healthy the entire season. Maybe missed one game. I don't remember exactly, but first of all, his health depending. I think he's been a pretty reliable receiver on the field, so that's
Oh
been
yeah.
good. But having such a dependability on one receiver, and then like this is the one season where you're doing this new thing, you have a new receiver slot into the Buffalo. Next year, all defenses will have film on you, entire season worth of film. So they're gonna have to figure you out sooner or later. And it's going to be some kind of coverage, like whether that's a double coverage, whether it's a stud cornerback just covering you one-on-one. I don't know. I feel like that's going to be a problem down the road.
So. I mean, you also see this. You saw how this team just buckled against the Chiefs. Like, I mean,
oh yeah.
Spagnola's could figure it out. Great DC. I love I like Spagnola. Maybe it's probably because as a Patriots fan, he's beaten us twice in the Super Bowl. But just always just found a way to shut down Brady until this Super Bowl. But where was I going with this? Yeah, I guess I just wanted to bring that up. Just want to talk about talented roster. So I think
yeah,
we're in the same boat. So yeah,